strategically, when you're talking about messaging or strategy, if you're looking for someone dumber than Dan Bongholio, you won't find them. This is the kind of breakdown that you only see mentally in a fellow like him, and in a misunderstanding of every written word that passes in front of his eyeballs. I am constantly amazed that this dickhead, I don't pre-watch these clips, so I don't know what he's going to talk about in this, but every time this guy, he shows some clip that's like, watch this, and I'll tell you, it's going to say this, and then we watch the clip, and it says nothing like what he says it's going to, and then he comes back from it and goes, see, I told you it was going to say that. It's amazing. He's next level dumb. It's shocking how consistent it is. But this is about Bongino. People are waking up on propaganda. Well, good. So they're finally realizing that the division in the United States is not as big as people think it is, that a lot of it is being fomented and driven by artificial means, fake sock puppet accounts by Russia and others meant to create pro and anti-BLM groups, pro and anti-trans groups, pro and anti-CRT groups, pro and anti-war ones, and then they fight, they get those two sides of the argument, which would have a discussion normally, and get them fighting with each other. I'm glad they're finally waking up to that kind of propaganda, Bongholio. I'm sure that's what you're going to draw attention to. I'm very excited for people finally waking up to propaganda. Here it is.
Out of the Russian invasion is unprecedented. We have never seen anything like this, and social media isn't helping. It's hard to know what...
Sorry, hold on. Out of Russia? Wait a second. Russian forces step up shelling on Ukrainian cities. This would be Ukrainian cities, but so the propaganda is coming out of Russia. Okay, I think.
Folks, the wartime propaganda coming out of the Russian invasion is unprecedented. We have never seen...
Coming out of the Russian invasion. So not necessarily Russia. Both sides are engaged in... So we're going to see a both-siderism argument. You can't believe anything you see. I mean, everything you hear, maternity wards, malls, all buildings with people. That's not... These are all biolab. They actually do have biolab. If you really think of, I mean, granted, any town with a Quest Diagnostics in it or a dialysis center has a biolab by this definition. But, they have them, so bombs away.
Anything like this, and social media isn't helping. It's hard to know what to believe anymore and who to trust. We're living in...
No, it isn't. In general, broad strokes, it's pretty easy to tell who's fucking around and who's telling the truth. It really is. And anybody who muddies the water going, I don't know if is Ukraine a Nazi state? I mean, honestly, whose side do we, right? That's what's happening here. That's what this is about, right? Wartime propaganda ramps up over war in Ukraine. He's about to read something. This is about, can we even trust the Ukrainians? I mean, honestly.
Information age at our fingertips. But there are serious doubts over which parts of it are actually true.
Moscow was increasingly using harsh tactics to control information about the war. This includes banning Facebook and passing a law that could jail journalists.
Ukraine's Air Force says that Russia has carried out an alleged false flag operation aimed at bringing Belarus into the conflict.
Evolving from biological hazards to biological weapons and becoming a key part of Russia's disinformation campaign, justifying the invasion of Ukraine.
So listen, propaganda in war is nothing.
Is nothing new. So fact-checking the factors. So this is, see those clips we just saw about biolabs being the same as bioweapons labs? That's what he's going to, this is the conflation they've been doing on Fox News. No reason to believe he's not going to do that. And that the story about the Ukrainians and the United States, by the way, we gave them that intel that Russia was planning a false flag. And this is part of the pretext that Russia has used previously. This is not a new tactic for them either, but that's going to be watered down.
Every side's going to do it. Putin does it well.
Every side. Hey, It's every side's going to do it. You know, Putin does it well, but I mean, so do we. So do the Ukrainians. I mean,
They twist the truth. But the left here is engaged in information manipulation too. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, let's start with the self-proclaimed gatekeepers of truth, the media fact-checkers who've blown it just about every week for the past few months. Let's fact-check the fact-checkers during the show today.
Let's do it. Let's hear it. Fact-check these fact-checkers. Have they gotten it right? And by the way, do you think we're about to see some conflation of fog of war details coming out versus them selling a narrative on purpose? Well, I'm curious.
How about that? Fact-checker fail number one. According to the truth warriors at PolitiFact, quote, the U.S. did not double oil imports from Russia in the last year. See it right there, folks. Well, nice try. But it turns out...
Contortion of the Biden administration in Russia oil imports. Okay.
The United States actually did double its crude oil imports from Russia in 2021. Here's the joke of this whole thing. PolitiFact even mentions that in the 10th paragraph of its original story. Sounds like propaganda to me, doesn't it?
No, it sounds like there's a difference between year over year. They doubled from 2020, but it was probably down from 2019, for example, and therefore the doubling of it doesn't create some sort of giant material shift in anything. And the doubling of it had to do with businesses going back online. And also at that point, through all of 2021, I don't know if you guys remember, but Russia didn't have forces parked around Ukraine until fucking December.
Fact checker fail number two. Who could forget this gem? When the whole world saw Joe Biden check his watch during the ceremony honoring the fallen U.S. service members who died in Afghanistan. We watched it. USA Today.
Yeah, you mean between?
Unleashed its fact-checking army to run interference on that. Why? Why even draw attention to it? The paper then had to write a correction after their own fake fact check. It's fact checker fail number three. We could go on.
Also, look what he is comparing, like U.S. media reports about, like the standard of propaganda here. Like you've got Russia claiming they were setting up a false flag to give them a pretext to kill people, and Ukraine calling it out. And so Russia was creating a propaganda mission that involves violence, saying that they were attacked, therefore giving them the predicate for them as a country to attack the Ukrainian people. The other one was, what was the third one of his three or whatever, the false flag. Anyways, the point being is that like Russia creating this, the Nazi predicate, the biolabs. So biolabs exist, and therefore, if we have to use a tactical nuke on one of these sites, it's because they contain bioweapons, and therefore we can hit it with a bigger incendiary strike that might wipe out the rest of the city around it. But because if we just shoot it, we're gonna, it might release the stuff. And so that gives them the predicate to attack with a much larger, with a Moab level or a tactical nuke, which didn't work and fell back, all right? And now what he's saying is the equivalent of that. Elements that the Russian government, and specifically Vladimir Putin's administration, is doing to create a pretext for them to batter civilians with munitions nonstop. All that propaganda during an actual war is on par with a semantical argument about year-over-year oil in 2021 and 2020. Biden looking at his watch and its rosary. Also, by the way, this is during the ratchet up. So forgive me if I look at my watch in between them bringing soldiers off, like, are we going to get there in time? Because we have, this is a call with a world leader about stuff. Like, we're trying to coordinate all the NATO leaders, yada, yada, right? Forget all that. That's on par with a false flag. And then we're going to go to Rittenhouse, which, by the way, we've talked about.
All day here, folks. Remember before the Kyle Rittenhouse trial?
By the way, this is just so Bongino can play footage of people being shot on his show. This is murder footage.
The fact insisted, quote, it's perfectly legal for Rittenhouse to carry a gun, question mark. False.
Right, it is. It's not perfectly legal. He was underage. It wasn't illegal for him to own the gun, I think, in Wisconsin. It may have been illegal for him to own it in Illinois, so he kept it at his friend's house. It was purchased through a straw purchase for him, which is on the margins of illegal as well. That's probably why in the perfectly legal, that's why it's not like, there's nothing in this PolitiFact thing about it was legal for him to own it or illegal for him to own it. Because if somebody said it was illegal for Rittenhouse to carry a gun, that would have also been false. This seems to be the phrase they have a problem with, which is why it's actually in the quote.
But during the actual trial, the judge dismissed the gun charge against Rittenhouse.
So what? It was a lesser charge. That doesn't mean that every aspect of it was legal. They just didn't think it was to the level of what was going on. Like this shit happens all the fucking time.
The fact checkers scrambled to explain away their mistake. Listen, the media,
Did they?
you got
hey, asshole, show me the scramble. I mean, if you want to give me a lesson in what the fuck propaganda is, Bongholio, then you show this. Then you show the New York Post that says PolitiFact slammed for fact check on Rittenhouse legally owning a gun. Were they slammed? Can I see the slamming? Did I see the slam go on? Show me the slam. Was it a wrestling level slam? Was it a grand slam? Did they go to? Were they taken to Denny's? Did they get the grand slam breakfast? Is that how this is technically true?
job, guys and ladies out there, to keep us informed with the truth. That's your one job. Your one job. And yet
and I guess this is your one job besides the podcast, and you're failing at it miserably. Again, this is the conflation. This is the same as propaganda. This is, hey, the left lies to you just like Putin does. Basically, they're creating a false flag around Biden's watch, the Rittenhouse legality of him owning a gun, beyond the self-defense charge, beyond all that other stuff, that this is the same.
Keep failing over and over.
Over and over. Okay, what? This looks like it's sports related, so I don't know what I can tell you.
The tide may be turning, especially in the COVID information wars. In New York City.
Wait a minute. The COVID information wars. You mean after 70% of the fucking public is vaccinated and the vast majority of everyone else has natural immunity or both? Gee, I wonder why the tide is turning. It's almost as if the calendar moves forward.
Vaccination rules are still intact. In fact, New York won't allow unvaccinated athletes to play home games. But they will let unvaccinated visiting athletes play in New York. Got it? Even left.
How is that the left? That's New York on their own rules, moving slower. And if other teams can do it, then that's an NBA rule, or the NBA hasn't bothered to do it, or they're just acquiescing to the greater New York area. Also, for fuck's sake, New York is an international hub. It's different than San Antonio. That's why the rules are different. Volume of people, they're just slower. What the fuck does left have to do with this? It's the NBA.
Comedian Trevor Noah starting to figure out the absurdity of this.
I don't care, like, how COVID compliant you are. Like, this makes zero sense. Can we agree on that? Can we? What? So Kyrie can go inside, not wear a mask, even hug a teammate, but he cannot play. I don't get it. Why? Does the ball have a weak immune system? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm glad.
All right. Trevor speaks on a comedy show. And therefore, they'll point out the direct ironies of these kind of things. But this is just a matter of the bureaucracy of stuff taking time and other places having different rules about that they had and getting to the point where they're removing them. Like I was on a flight. I was on a bunch of flights yesterday. 4 of them, I'll have you know. And I was in the airport in Phoenix because my flight was delayed for an extra 2 hours, more so than I was supposed to be. And still they lost my bag. It arrived this morning. So but 4 flights, okay? Had to wear a mask on all of them. On the Southwest flights, they announced that we got to wear masks on flights for another month. That they had gotten word that the government is going to lift those things, barring some other breakdown, in a month. And part of that is doing it in a piloted way, seeing if there's any outbreaks as the rest of society that isn't in a fucking sealed tube, how the spread is affected currently, what the hospital rates and the death rates are like as Omicron starts to fade in the background, and whether or not the European strain that was making its way over here will make its way over here and have a similar impact, or because of Omicron and vaccination will just kind of die on the vine, which it seems to be doing. So they're plotting it out a month, but they're doing it safely. They're taking off some of these protections piece by piece, and some are going to get taken off sooner because of public outcry and that kind of stuff, and others are going to take more time, and some of them are going to be these like 2 step forward, 1 step back, where the venue does it, but the team does, and then they have to mix match. Like, well, we don't have that rule. Well, we do still, and you're playing it. Like, that's what this is. And so Trevor Noah, like a lot of other people, are going to point out the weirdness of these steps forward and back. That's all. And it's good comedy fodder. It always will be. They're fuck, man. People used to have like long form bits on funny street signs. That's not new. So in the process of this, right, as the airline has a right to do, exactly. That's what this is about. This is not about the left controlling your thoughts, and then they're changing their tune. You know why? Normal people, this isn't the left. This is also what would be the center of the country too. It's going, no, okay, we've met these standards, and we're okay. Well, it's like walking across like a rope bridge on a canyon. We're stepping on each one because it is not a solid metal bridge like we might pass somewhere else. We're at an inflection point where the quality of the crossing is not guaranteed. A couple of people along the way have stepped without looking and plummeted to their death. And so we are, stop starting our way. We're red light, green lighting our way through this. And so there's going to be a mismatch between stuff. And is it illogical at times? Yes. But that's not propaganda. Lack of logic in a circumstance because other people are dealing with factors that you aren't factoring into your decision making, or that crisscross with those things, is not, and that is simply the complexity of life playing out. Fucking hell.
He's waking up, but it's a little late, right? Where was Trevor Noah when all this madness started and people like us were getting?
First of all, he was still on The Daily Show. They stopped. He was doing his show from fucking home. He couldn't even meet with his staff. Donald Trump was fucking president during the lockdown, and then the first one, and the second one, and then the ongoing one. What do you mean, where was he when this started? When this started, there was no vaccine. There were no treatments. There was no Pfizer pill. There was no monoclonal antibodies to treat this. That's where he was. He was where we all were, with less information and less tools to fight this. For fuck's sake.
Poked fun at for bringing it up. NBA superstar Kevin Durant, though, he said it best.
Yeah, I don't get it. It just feels like at this point now, somebody's trying to make a statement or a point to flex their authority. So, yeah, we're all confused. Pretty much everybody in the world is confused at this point. Early on in the season, you know, people didn't understand what was going on, but now it just looks stupid.
You see what happens when people wake up?
You see what happens when most people have been vaccinated and the changes take a little bit longer to take effect because their safety precautions and safety precautions should be tepid in their movement forward? See what happens when time fucking passes forward? Oh my God.
Propaganda? Kevin Durant thinks the rules sound stupid. You know why? Because the rules are stupid.
Because if he wants to get a hand job on the court from another man, you're right, Bongholio. I support his right to get one. I mean, I think it's a little weird when there's so many family people watching, but look, whatever brings you joy, I am not here to yuck anybody's yum. But this is a really weird picture choice. I'm sorry. I'm just going to let this sit there for a second. Do you get the feeling, like, look at Bongholio right now. Besides the fact that he looks insane, he looks like he just got a glimpse of the photo they're using to help him make his point. Oh, God. Yeah, there was no national lockdown. That's exactly right. Trump left it to the states. Some cities had them bigger than others because they have more fucking people and more international travel. Look at Dan, like, I want one. And who doesn't, honestly? You know what I mean? It takes the edge off on the court. Now I had the time of my life. Nobody leaves Durant in a corner.
They never made any sense. China.
Yes, they fucking did. Shenzhen lockdown will affect everything from cars to iPhones. It's going to be really bad. Yeah, the Chinese government is overreacting. They have a zero tolerance policy with COVID, and it's way over the top. For fuck's sake, we know this. And then this is, by the way, this is the left because they're communists, I suppose. So New York's rules that are changing right now, where they've just dropped their vaccine and masking mandate, and you can do it optionally in New York City, fine, whatever. But because one NBA team has to wear them and another one doesn't if they're actually playing, because they don't want to lose their fucking $1 million investment in these folks, that's basically China. But we're basically in China.
Imposed the 7-day lockdown in their tech hub Shenzhen due to a massive COVID outbreak, which is easing now, but there could be more bad news coming up for a supply chain crisis. But has anyone thought to ask, why aren't we seeing the same outbreak in the United States?
Right, because A, they are not making a distinction, fucko, between Delta and Omicron, and what is hitting them right now is Omicron. Now, they're having cases like we had, right? But they also welded people into their homes. They do have these cases. Here's an idea, Bongino, if you're talking about propaganda. Maybe, just maybe, the numbers coming out of China are bullshit. What do you... Oh, okay. May I? Point of order, if I may, Mr. Chairman, for Bongholio here. Son of a bitch. Such a... Oh, God, it's so stupid. All right, this guy, one second. Again, we made a little visit with our friend Serpent ZA today, earlier in the show, and or in the morning show, rather. And he was talking to, let's see, where is it? Yeah, here it is. So he was, this is why this came up earlier, by the way. Hold on. So this is, where are we? Yeah, this is Serpent ZA talking about the outbreak in China right now. So this is a guy right here. This is a guy who's having to read a shame statement in front of everybody. This guy's a local. They've all been deputized by the government to bust anybody who crosses into neighborhoods to go to the next, township over to buy groceries. This guy got busted doing it. They made him read everything. They shame. Okay, watch this. Hold on.
我们工作者更不会同意。
Okay.
What you're seeing here are people escaping a convention center. Now, this convention center is massive. I've been there myself. This is where they hold the Canton Fair. What happened was there was a convention going on and somebody turned up with a red health code on their phone. Now, how it works is in China, everybody has an app that tracks their health. In other words, if you've been into a shopping...
This is the footage that he's showing. This is the China Tech Hub lockdown threatened supply chain. This is the footage if you bother to look.
Or an area that somebody else had been into who later tested positive with COVID. Your phone will then update to a yellow code and you have to go get tested. And only when you're...
Are you fucking kidding me? By the way, this is how Bongino thinks America was during COVID.
With a negative test, does it go back to green after a certain number of days? Now, what happened is somebody walked in and they had a red health code. So what they did was shut down the entire facility and lock everyone in there. Tens of thousands of people, by the way, not a small amount of people, as you can see by these crowds. 49,000 people, according to media reports, locked them in there in order...
49,000 people locked in a convention center until they can test them all. And then they all still have to go Serpents. Z-A. That's his, hold on, it's this guy right here. Serpent Za, I used to call him, but it's Serpent Z-A. I don't know where he got his name initially, but that's his...
Test every single one of them. Now, these lockdowns can last for days because, of course, there's an incubation period when it comes to catching the virus. So they can last for days. They can last for weeks. Nobody knows. And that's why when people heard they were being locked in, some of them scaled 2-meter-high fences in order to escape. These lockdowns are getting crazy. But this was a precursor to what's...
By the way, he says 2-meter high because he knows Americans are stupid. It's about 6 feet. It's not that big a deal, but okay.
Happening now. Entire cities and even provinces have now been locked down. It's no secret that the Chinese vaccine is completely useless against Omicron.
Right. So this is, I mean, he's getting footage from his friends inside China. I have some friends who send me similar stuff. I don't post it because I don't want to get them in trouble. But this is, I mean, this is very... Obviously, like, there's no way Bongino knows any of this shit. Right? So, he's like, this is going to fuck with our supply chain. So, obviously, this is the left. This isn't the fucking left. This is a communist government. This has nothing to do with the United States opening up after we've gotten ourselves vaccinated with the American vaccines that are actually effective and having treatments available and the Pfizer pill and all that kind of stuff. China created their own vaccine.
In fact,
hold on. Whoops. Sorry.
The efficacy of the Chinese vaccine has always been very low.
So anyways, it triggered that video. Hold on. So here, one more time, dum-dum.
Attained herd immunity here? You remember the same herd immunity called not realistic by the media?
What he is trying to say is herd immunity.
By the way, September 17th, 2020. September 17th, 2020, which is get everyone vaccinated to where you got 70% of people vaccinated. This is while Trump is still president. So watch the fucking magic. Again, like does somebody tear pages out of their calendar or do they go backwards? Honestly, does Bongino and everybody at Fox News think that December comes before November, comes before October, comes before September? Is that how this shit works?
Realistic by the media?
What he is trying to say is herd immunity.
Herd immunity is not a realistic way of dealing with this pandemic at this point in time.
Are they talking about herd immunity?
Yeah, it wasn't. Because that was the alpha version. It wasn't possible with Delta, especially. That killed a lot of fucking people. The current version of it at that time wasn't. It would kill you. This is September 2nd. This is even earlier. Omicron is a different strain. Yes, it's less dangerous for most people. It can still kill people. Christ. Yeah, this is exactly like the Jimmy Dore 2018 story. These assholes just want to pretend that the clock stopped when Trump was president and everything became magically, due north. Just boom, everything is fine. It's fine. And any variation, this is so stupid. How do they get away with it's Bongholio. That's how. For fuck's sake.
And the risks, though, that are associated with that kind of rhetoric about herd immunity.
That's not a fundamental strategy.
Listen, unlike the left.
And by the way, this fuckhead, the herd immunity they were talking about, this is before the vaccine. This is the letter rip idea. The letter rip idea, by the way, that would have led to 1.5 to 2.5 million dead Americans, not to mention everybody else who is damaged by it. Because we didn't have the lockdowns, for example. And even Trump was aware of this when they finally gave him the numbers. And somebody asked, what happens if you just let it rip? And they were like, well, 1.5 to 2.5 million dead. And he was like, well, I'm thinking, right? And we later found out, he even said it at his goddamn rally, that it was him who asked that question. What if you just let it rip?
Media, okay, I don't do propaganda, so I can't prove we've reached herd immunity.
I don't do propaganda, so I can't prove we've reached herd immunity. Motherfucker, we haven't. We got vaccinated. The vast majority of people got vaccinated. That's why we started opening up. God damn, this dude is dumb. Watch this.
Strategy.
Listen, unlike the left-wing media, okay, I don't do propaganda, so I can't prove we've reached herd immunity because immunity-resistant strains can always develop. But
Right, they can, but we've been through so many strains. And the result is, from both the Israeli tests and the UK and the United States, is that if you've been vaccinated, you're going to avoid, you might catch it, you might even carry it, but you're not going to get hospitalized by it. And with the Omicron strain, which is much more virulent, but less damaging, apparently so far in mass, in general, right? In mass general, it's a hospital. The combination of the people who've had that, that's exactly where we are. What you are propagandizing about is that nothing has changed between now and September of 2020. Or for that matter, May of 2020. For fuck's sake.
herd immunity is not a strategy. It's an established phenomenon, an epidemiological phenomenon. Just go.
Oh my God, this dude is dumb. This is before we had a vaccine. The idea was if you just let it rip, you get to herd immunity by just letting it go through the populace. Fucking hell.
The search machine on the internet, look it up. It's not a...
Yeah, look for the... Yeah, I'm sorry, the search machine.
Not a strategy. It's an established phenomenon, an epidemiological phenomenon. Just go to the search machine on the internet, look it up.
I don't... Shit, hold on. The search machine. Okay, I've got the searchmachine.biz. I'm getting a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of stuff for search engines, Bongholio. The only thing search machine I'm getting is this. It's a job, like a hiring, recruiting, and screening for tech companies. The search machine. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, these are search engines in no particular order. Gee, can you tell who's paying for a spot? Jesus Christ. Google's not wasting any money on it because people will Google what the best search engine is. Already. Bing, Baidu. Yes, these are the most trusted sources. Ecosia, which is donates the money that it makes from your searches. Pretty cool, I think. AOL, in case you're trying to find out whatever happened to that CD-ROM that was supposed to be delivered to your house. The search machine. Is herd immunity working now? Fair question. So you don't think the assertion that it's a fair question is propaganda? No?
It's not a talking point. It isn't just fact checkers failing and the media failing us and the propaganda everywhere. The left's hypocrisy is actually now getting worse after all of this. Remember way back when Hillary Clinton accused Tulsi Gabbard of being used by the Russians during the 2020 primary? Tulsi Gabbard.
Yes. Yes, we do. Yeah. And she's been carrying Putin's balls ever since. And?
Russian stooge. Everybody, you ever know everybody's a Russian stooge if you're not a Democrat?
Wait, do you think he's going to bring up that the donation that she got was like $60? Do you think that's going to be the thing? Because of that article that recently came out that the woman that was busted only donated to one candidate and it was $60, $59.95, I think. Because she bought a hoodie or something off her site, more than likely.
Democrats have launched a fresh round of attacks, saying Tulsi Gabbard took a 2020 campaign donation from an accused Russian agent, wait for it, for an amazing $59.95. Sounds like a DoorDash bill on the weekend. But conveniently...
Oh, does it now? Hang on one second. I'm going to switch over to this and see if I can come back and see if the audio doesn't delay as much. We'll see. Hold on.
Left somehow forgets Hunter Biden's lavish gifts from foreign...
No, it just doesn't matter. It's all been vetted.
Hours.
And it also didn't result in any of the benefits that Hunter Biden is not now on television espousing the values of Viktor Yanukovych. Hunter Biden is not on television as a Fox News guest saying that Russia, it has done nothing wrong and Ukraine is corrupt and would be better off with Viktor Yanukovych running the fucking joint. Because that would have been during the time when he was allegedly on the take, and that would have been the time when he was allegedly, those would be the people that would be benefiting from him being there. Right? He would be, his job, as some of the money that he got from being on Burisma's board at that time, would have benefited Yanukovych in theory, as far as keeping him in office and protecting him. But it didn't.
Got this headline. More money than God. Chinese titan lavished Hunter Biden with a 3-carat gem and an offer of $30 million. 3-carat gem.
Hold on. 3-carat gem. Gem? A gem. What kind of gem? It doesn't say diamond. So here we go. This is a round 3-carat lab-created diamond. Good cut. I don't know why you cut them if they're lab-created, but sure. $5,000 for that one. Here's a 3-carat oval diamond engagement ring in a gold setting. Lovely. James Allen. Fantastic. Really brings out the whole ensemble. That's $23,000. Here's a 3-cut solitaire engagement. This is a classic 4-pronged solitaire, 18-karat gold. If you make, $150,000 in 3 months, this is your ring. This is what you want. $57,409. That's okay. How much does a 3-carat diamond cost? From somewhere between $19 and $95. That's the cut. You know what I mean? Whether it's synthetic or real, obviously, that's a big part of it. I don't know. Now these are all diamonds. Did he say diamond? Did anybody say 3-carat diamond? This is okay. 3-carat. Let me see. 3-carat. Was it a 3-carat diamond?
Titan lavished Hunter Biden with a 3-carat gem and an offer of $30 million. 3-carat gem.
3 carats of the gem. It was a 3-carat. What is gem? Hold on. Hold on. More money than God. Chinese. Whoops. Titan. Apparently it was the Chinese version of Thanos. Titan lavished. Okay. Yeah, we'll just do that. It'll find it. Chinese time, okay, 3 gem, okay, this is Fox News. Fox Bang, more money than God is carried by New York Post on Twitter. Where's the more money than God daily advent? Fleekus. Look at the papers that carry this shit. Okay, Fox News will carry it, obviously. So there we go. This is the article that he's doing. He's making it look like Fox didn't run it. And the byline for China, apparently. Okay. Miranda Devine details family's involvement with Chinese government in new book. Oh, this is from her book. Okay. Linked to energy control expands business. How do we know? Because of hundreds of emails documenting the deal. Found on Hunter Biden's laptop left in Delaware. Okay, that's bullshit. These they don't exist. I mean, I'm sure there are some emails that exist, but they're not from the laptop. They don't confirm it. She doesn't confirm it. She's never seen it. She's only gotten files of files. I call bullshit. I want to see a picture. If I swear to God, I would buy that book if there's a picture of the laptop in it. Here we go. James Gilliar, a wiry 56-year-old British essay author, got to know Yi Jianming, the 40-year chairman of CEFC, when they were both working in the Czech Republic, where my girlfriend's family are from, and originally. Now they're Pittsburgh and Florida, but Chinese conglomerate, one of the largest energy companies in the world. Okay, so obviously Hunter Biden did know something about energy and had worked in the energy sector before. Weird. Okay. Yi's task was to spend $1.5 billion as quickly as possible to ensure the Czech Republic would become China's gateway to the European Union. Oh, so this is the money that they were spending. So they got $1.5 billion in 15 seconds? Oh, this is a good part of the story. Hold on. Wait, I got to scroll this down here. So remember the story we've heard multiple times about how Biden, Hunter Biden went in there and he walked out with $1.5 billion. And Trump has said this many, many times. I asked business people, real business people, and by God, they said, could you do that? And they go, no, I couldn't do that. Meanwhile, Yi's task was to spend $1.5 billion as quickly as possible. Well, I guess that's how you would walk out of there with it, is you run into a guy whose job it is to get rid of that money and spend it, by the way, in the Czech Republic, to basically buy the Czech Republic for the BRI, for the Belt and Road Initiative. There's a bunch of this shit going around. China was throwing money around for a decade this way, and it didn't, which was gateway to the European Union, a priority of President Xi. Okay. Gilliard connected with Hunter Biden through trusted Biden family friend Rob Walker, a former Clinton administration whose wife, Massey Walker, had been Jill Biden's assistant when she was second lady. Gilliard emailed Walker because they have family friends and whatever. Okay. Gilliard emailed Walker in 2015 to praise Hunter's appearance in Beijing at a board meeting of the fledgling investment fund Hunter had founded with John Kerry's son called BHR. Hunter was great. True chic of Washington. He wrote to Walker. Well, I'm sold. That obviously Hunter Biden is clearly a Muslim now and probably lives in the UAE. It says it right there. True shake of Washington, right there. I mean, what more could you want? He emailed Hunter a few weeks later. It's been made clear to me that CEFC wished to engage in further business relations with our group. So that guy who's in business, this company wanted to give money to their group to do business there. Okay. Gilliard knew CEFC was a capitalist arm of President Xi's Belt and Road Initiative to spread China's influence and debt traps across the world. By the way, nobody in this circle was calling these things fucking debt traps 5 years ago, much less 10. So below me. No Chinese company executed its goals more ardently than CEFC and its young chairman, who was dubbed the Belt and Road billionaire in the press. Okay. Let's see. The White House promised to keep identities of buyers here. Oh, the art thing. Okay. Firm helped China purchase rich cobalt mine in $3.8 billion deal. That's what they did. That was their job. Okay. Is the deal illegal? Then say so. If just the purchase, oh, fuck off. Anyways, Chairman Yi had built his provincial lending company, Fortune 500 Colossus, virtually overnight. An achievement described by Chinese news agency Caixin as another great enigma in the miraculous world of Chinese business. He enjoyed the support of President Xi, and of course they do, because they're all carried by that. Okay. Portrayed by the Hermit King, phased expressionless stone statue, don't care. In his public activities, Yi Jianming is always walking alongside important political figures, photographed with the Israeli President Perez, Turkish President Erdogan, Chadian President Deby, European Commissioner President Juncker, by the way, a mix of people Trump loves and hates. Okay. He's met with Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, the Prime Minister of Bulgaria, have feast to welcome. Okay. Yeah, because the dude's a multi-billionaire, and the Belt and Road Initiative everybody was like, oh, that's lovely. You want to invest? Cool, we need investors. Knock yourself out. And then they realized it was a debt trap, and everybody's been backing out over the last 3 years. Ask Australia. Anyways, in 2015, Director Zhang Jianjun, a.k.a. Director Zhang, okay, flew to Washington, D.C. A meeting with Yi was scheduled in Hunter's diary for December 7th, 2015. In a week, there was a swirl of back-to-back Christmas parties hosted by Jill. Okay. So obviously, because Christmas was nearby and family Christmas, obviously it was all set up. All right. One of his former associates, he spoke on condition of anonymity, believes that Hunter brought Chairman Yi to meet Joe at one of these parties. Well, then say it. Which former associate? Again, if this was Trump, the Fox News would be throwing themselves. Who are these anonymous sources? Right. Believes, by the way. I'm sure there was he'll sign an affidavit that he believed that he met. Okay. There is no indication any such meeting on the laptop, but Hunter had a pattern of introducing business associates to Joe when they came to D.C. Oh, did he? Establish it. Okay, anyways. After a frustrating experience in another Chinese deal as a minority partner in private equity firm BHR, in which played the payday would not come until the end of the fund's life, Hunter and his uncle Jim Biden wanted more control of the CEFC partnership and a regular income stream. Enter Tony Bobulinski. This is the dude who is their source for a bunch of this stuff. Turned wealthy institutional investor, came highly recommended by Gilliar to build what they planned would be a world-class investment firm called Sino-Hawk. Named after Hunter Biden's late brother's Bo's favorite animal, the hawk. Or a Chinese defense-related fund. In December 2015, Gillard tells Bobulinski he needs to help structuring a Chinese joint venture for one of the most prominent families in the United States. Okay. The plan is to build an investment firm like Goldman Sachs, he writes in a WhatsApp message, transcripts which are obtained from the laptop, from a hard drive that is alleged to come from the laptop. They never saw the laptop. They never held the laptop. They've never touched the laptop. This annoys me. I mean, which were obtained from files from a hard drive that was copied from the laptop. Say that, knock yourself out. I still call bullshit, but whatever. The family is the Biden family. Gilliar would soon disclose. Joe, who has announced that he would not run for president in 2016, will be actively involved once he leaves office, and the Bidens expect billions of dollars of projects to flow through the company, he said. Okay. He let Bobulinski in on the piece of the puzzle in March 2016. The Biden's Chinese partner is CEFC, which has more money than God, he writes. This is the capital arm of the One Belt, One Road. At this time, Bobulinski introduced, so they're investing this money all over the world, and they want a great way to do this. So they think Hunter Biden is the way to get Joe online to help them. Basically, that Joe Biden, working with this company, would take this job through BHR and be the handshake deal guy when they would go all over the world to fucking Africa and places like that. And as the vice president of America's first black president, he would be uniquely suited. This is what the setup is. If we could get Joe to do this, who's your partner? Hunter Biden. Bobulinski's Larry. I understand you want me to help drive things to the U.S., but Hunter is already here in the U.S. Go on. Money there, intent there, skill sets missing. We need to create the best deal platform in history, and they haven't got a clue. Bobulinski doesn't like the fact Hunter was kicked out of the U.S. Navy for cocaine use. This just seems like a conversation that's meant to be heard later. But he's super smart, just a lot of underachievers around them using their name, has a few demons, but you are used to those, right? What does that mean? What's Gilliar saying about Bobulinski? What? Yeah. Is he the decision maker or the Chinese? New platform, best discussed face-to-face, but I'm the driver. So basically, Gilliar has got this plan cooked up in his head, and he's trying to gather people together and bullshitting everyone in the process. Man, oh Shevitz, have you ever thought that someone gacked out of their brain on cocaine would try to gather some powerful people they know who tangentially know other power people into another deal? Okay, so joint vehicle, half us, and they equally split. Money's already in. Discuss more face-to-face. Oh, who's putting up the $10 million? Bobulinski's there. joint vehicle, half us, and then equally split. Money is already in. So 5 from their company, 5 from CEFC or whatever. And then, okay. 3 weeks after his father left office, Hunter flew to Miami with Gilliar and Walker to meet Chairman Yi, who was there for the Miami International Boat Show. So Gilliar is still trying to set this deal up. Buddy, fly down to Miami with me. We're going to go to the boat show, and I'll introduce you to this dude. They booked into a $700 night beachfront Nobu hotel, scheduled lunch with him on Thursday in a private room set for 10, where Yi was staying with his entourage. But Hunter flew home the day before the lunch. He had already met with Yi over a private dinner on Tuesday night, at which the CEFC chairman made him an offer too good to refuse. $10 million a year, a minimum of 3 years for introductions alone, as Hunter would later assert in an imperious email to CEFC executives. This was the offer. Yi sealed the new alliance with a rich gift, a 3.6 carat, 16 karat diamond worth $80,000. That was top end. We just saw 19 to 90. Photographs of the stunning stone appeared on the laptop along with a grading report that listed as round, brilliant, a grand F with prime VS2 clarity and excellent cut. This doesn't seem planted at all by people who are trying to encircle the road with their own project. I'm sure all of this is completely legitimate. My goodness, of course he left a laptop with all of this magically incriminating evidence on it. I can't, all right. The gift would come in the middle of an ugly divorce from Kathleen, and his office manager, Joe, had sent him the latest in a series of overdue bills, a tax collection notice from D.C. for $47,000. He would tell the New Yorker's adamant that he'd flown to Miami to meet Chairman Yi purely for charitable purposes, hoping to secure a donation to World Food Program. The nonprofit he served on the board of said it was just a chance. The altruistic accountant turned to business opportunities, claimed to be supervised when Yi gave him the diamond. He didn't mention the happy coincidence the business partners were there in Miami because he blew them off. 9 days after Hunter's meeting, $3 million was wired into an account of Rob Walker's company, Robinson Walker LLC, Limited, Shanghai-based, from State Energy HK Limited, CFC, according to Chuck Grassley, Ron Johnson inquiry. Okay, so what? On March 1st, another $3 million is wired to Robinson Walker by the same company. Both transactions are flagged by the Department of Treasury. Suspicious activity report, confidential documents. Using the document as a source, Grassley Johnson, at the time of the transfer, State Energy Limited was affiliated with the CEFC Energy, which was, okay, so this is the whole thing with, because they did this, and because CEFC is tied to China, and because this guy is the leader of that, then the charity meeting and the diamond clearly mean that this was money sent to Hunter. That's it. Okay. So these transactions are a direct link between Walker and the communist government because of the close relation with Hunter Biden, yet another tie between, right. So it's a fucking bank shot. That's the whole thing. Meanwhile, if Mueller wanted to look at Trump's finances, he was not allowed. Just for the record. Okay. Again, we know from the laptop. No, you don't. There is no laptop. Received regular payments from Hunter Walker. One document lists $56,000 from Robinson Walker's income for Rosemont Seneca advisors for the advisors. See, that's not just for him. They were basically, Robinson Walker hired Rosemont Seneca for stuff between June and December 2017. So 2 years later, $56,000 split between the 3 guys that run Rosemont Seneca. Paid $511 to Hunter's firm Owasco in 2017, according to an email from Hunter's tax accountant, Bill Morgan. Walker tells Bobulinski his role in CFC is being a surrogate for Hunter or Jim when gauging opportunities, i.e. digging around Texas on high-speed rail with some of my Republican friends, or hitting new... Tells Bobulinski his role in CEFC, in the Chinese company, is being a surrogate for Hunter or Jim when gauging opportunities. These are the opportunities that he's gauging, i.e. digging around in Texas on high-speed rail with some of my Republican friends, or hitting new countries and contracts abroad where things are lukewarm but not enough for H to close or too odd for H to be present. Good Lord. And with all this deal, with all this shit going on, Biden invites Taiwan to Democracy Summit in likely slap at China. I don't understand. He's getting $1.5 billion. Why wouldn't you just, honestly. On March 5th, Page 6 breaks the news that Hunter and his brother's widow, Haley, are an item. When Hunter doesn't show up for a scheduled meeting 3 days later in New York, Gillard tells Bobulinski it doesn't matter. In Brand, he's imperative right now, but he's not essential for adding input to business. Yeah, because it was just tangentially there, and he wasn't doing anything. Right, okay. Is at this point, Gillard explains to Bobulinski that the Chinese involved in CFC are intelligence, so they understand the value added to the Biden name. They are intelligence? I think he meant intelligent, unless they are literally Chinese intelligence, and they're telling these guys that they understand that the Biden name has to be it. Bobulinski remains troubled about Hunter's scandals, and Gillard, who's in Australia with director Zhang, looking for acquisitions, which, by the way, all that stuff was floored after the renewal of the Quad under Biden and the new AUKUS agreement, where they scuttled the BRI plans in Australia, something you would hardly do if you were indebted to the Chinese, is worried he might pull out. So he arranges for him to meet Hunter the following month at Chateau Marmont in Bobulinski's hometown of LA. They meet by the hotel pool in April and speak for 2 hours while Hunter chain smokes. Bobulinski finds him respectful and polite. Hunter boasts that he has his father's ear and can bypass his advisors, according to Bobulinski, by the way. Hunter tells Bobulinski how the joint venture vehicle should be structured and expresses caution about U.S. laws. Oh, this is the part where he's like, yeah, we can't break any laws, which prohibits businesses from paying bribes to foreign officials. He appears to conflate that law with the Foreign Agents Registration Act and anti-spying law, blah, blah, blah. No matter what, it will need to be a U.S. company at some level in order for us to make bids on federal and state-funded projects. Right. They can't even get the jobs, much less do the jobs.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Regardless, we should have a, quote, company called CEFC America, and ownership should be 50 me and 50 them. Then we cut up our 50% in separate entity between the four of us. Yeah, right. Hunter seems focused, but Bobulinski is puzzled about Uncle Jim's frequent meddling in CEFC business. For instance, Jim pulls my horse goes to Ang. They basically rolled it up because they're never going to do it because it's a Chinese company and they just want it to. It's just a shepherd for BRI initiatives, and they're trying to make it ground in the United States, and they'll never be able to buy up projects. This is why one of the reasons why the California. I was once a proponent of the idea that China would a Chinese company would ultimately do the high-speed train between Disneyland and Vegas that was proposed. I now know that that is insanity, but at the time, this is about that time. This is about 2014 or so. 2015 in that zone, it seemed like a good idea because they were making so much of it, and they were, it was all the stories were about how great the high-speed rail quality was, and how quickly they could do it, and how cheaply, and yada yada. But ultimately, they only do it in countries where they could buy up the land afterwards if they're if they're not paid back in a timely manner, and the contract was such that it was guaranteed at some point that it would have to be with California, not with the federal government backing, so that they could basically bankrupt California and take it. So they would own land. It was just stupid. Right. Anyways. So that's the whole thing. More money than God. China's Titan lavished Hunter Biden with 3-carat gem, offered him $30 million, which he didn't take, and ultimately did not amount to China getting anything. What has Joe Biden done in terms of China since he's been in office? Welcomed Taiwan into the nation of the League of Democracies. Started reshoring chip building companies over here, factories specifically in the United States, and tech companies to shorten the supply chain in all those areas. Start making new deals with Mexico to cover some of those the other manufacturing that would normally be offshore to China. Restarted the Quad and started the AUKUS agreement, giving nuclear-powered submarines to Australia to protect Taiwan. I bet this dude wants his diamond back.
A little bit more than a DoorDash bill on the weekends, right? Eating a lot of DoorDash. So to be clear, a $59 donation, definitely a Russian asset. A 3-carat diamond from a...
Well, no. I mean, that wasn't the sole thing. It's been all of her talk ever since. It's just weird that person who was literally busted for being a Chinese spy, the only person she gave to openly was Tulsi. And there may have been she may have given some and then she got the call like, stop it. We'll mess up the deal going forward. You got to kind of keep a hands-off thing. And then she stopped. But she was certainly engaged with her. How many times did they meet? Do you care? Maybe that's all it took. Maybe the person will buy something for, they'll donate exactly $59.95 on this date. That's the person you got to meet with. Okay. That kind of shit. No? Because I'm just saying, since then, Tulsi has been very supportive of Russia's message on everything. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden have been shitting on China and Russia at every turn.
Man in China, definitely not a Chinese Communist Party asset. No way. Folks.
Well, no. The article says he is. Everybody knows he is. The reason the deal apparently fell apart was because Hunter was like, no, we need a company here. We can form a company together, but that's a private company. They don't get to have, because the Chinese government can't own a company that does that work in the United States, especially on federal projects. It would never be allowed. So that was a non-starter. That kills the deal. Now, whether Hunter knew that or not is an interesting point, because more than likely he did. More than likely, that's how he could get out of it without causing trouble for himself and his business partners, because they know that, and it would be a non-starter.
Between the failed fact checkers and the constant liberal stream of misinformation, it's like drinking from a fire hose. The propaganda is not exclusive to people at war or tyrant Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, it's basically the same, guys. And the Hunter Biden laptop, which Bongino has never laid eyes on, never touched with his own hands, even though he knows everybody who supposedly came in contact with it personally, has hung out with them, smoked cigars with them, went to dinner with them at very nice restaurants, no doubt, ran up more than $59.95 in DoorDash bills with the likes of Rudy Giuliani and his ilk. Even though Bongino has definitely done that, he's never touched the goddamn thing, never seen it with his own eyes. But it's not propaganda to say that files that are copies of files that were on a hard drive that allegedly is linked to a thing that he's never seen with his own eyes is reality. Who listens to him? Well, let's be clear. This video has 718,000 views. Lest you think I am punching down about this stuff. Fox News' own website, their own YouTube channel, has 9.2 million subscribers. I have 30-some-odd thousand subscribers on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. And granted, this is a giant media organization who pays for some of theirs, I've heard allegedly been bandied about. Yes, and I have a mighty Twitch army too. Twitch.tv/HalSparks. Always fun. But for the record, lest you think that I'm like, nobody cares about this shit. Now, granted, yes, I have my subscribers are real, by the way, and there aren't any Indian viewing farms pressing view on these things over and over and over again. Yes, all mine are organic, so it's no pressure, but it's all on you guys. But Bongino's video about propaganda, where he talks out of his ass for 6 minutes and 33 seconds so far, I think it goes to ad probably right after this, has close to, will have 1 million views before too long. Just saying.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Yep.
Hey, click.
Bailed right the fuck out. Now, by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way you can. Venmo, always helpful. Always a great way to just, a cup of coffee. Send me a cup of coffee. Just take a picture of it with your phone, and you can sign up for Venmo, and then you'll do the thing, and then off you go. And I will get the Cash App there up sometime. I promise. I keep forgetting. Son of a bitch. And then, of course, you can become a patron. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Patreons are the ones responsible for the actual gear that we have on the show. Thank you. That's why we're building out our road case, which I'm going to need increasingly as I have more shows coming up. As I do live shows, the carryable version of all this setup that I have is going to be even more important. So, and eventually, clearly, thank you, Go Bucks, for becoming a patron. Bless you.